They're off.
It's not Monday. It's Tuesday.
Should say we were off.
Yeah.
We took President's Day and did the old relaxation. How was your day, son?
It was fantastic. Welcome back to another Nudelberg Daily Huddle. I'm glad to be kicking the short week off the right way, which I had a whole conversation in my head about short weeks this morning as I was getting up early and I was thinking about the week and putting my plan together and everything. Like in football, a short week was like a disaster, like the worst thing that could ever happen to you because you were trying to cram a full week's worth of preparation into 3 days or 4 days or whatever it was. And I was like, no, this is great. Still going to get everything done, but had a Monday off and have a Friday at the Honda. So lots to look forward to.
Yeah, we got a really nice agenda of things to talk about today. But topping the list, and this is just unbelievable that it happened 6 weeks into the new year. We have a picture of the entire family together. Shay, show me the Andy's pasta dinner. So if you joined us on Friday, you saw Andy Cagnetta. And so they pulled off a great event. Mark, what was your thoughts being first time?
Yeah, I think, his nugget of treating everybody like family and then seeing the amount of people that get involved and just the scale of the event and the way he put it together. Like, it's a true family event. Like, for there to be a room for Kai to be able to do pasta artwork and make a pasta necklace and do things that were kid-friendly. But then the ultimate moment for me was, as you're walking around the room, they have a table, and the guy asks Kai, he says, would you like to put together a bag to help other kids in Broward County? And Kai said, yeah, sure. So he takes the plastic bag and he puts it together. And as we get to the end of creating the snack bag, they hand him a medal for doing it, which he was all fired up about. So it was awesome, just a really awesome family event and tons of great people. Got to see Julio Roque there, which was really cool. Just so many people. Sherry was there, and we actually ran into Sherry the next day at at Shake Shack right here on US 1.
It's got to be in the cards because I was walking on Sunday morning, and Ellen and I are walking east on Las Olas, and we're like deep in this conversation, and somebody runs by me, taps me on the shoulder, and goes, Nudelberg! The living shit out of me, man. And it was her husband. It was Mark Cedars. So
it was awesome.
Lots of Cedars in the world. So it was great. It really, I agree with you. Like, we've been involved in that in a long time. Ran into a lot of faces, a lot of, Broward County's best coming out on a Sunday afternoon at 4:00. And, for me, the grandfather and, the word quelling, man, I was just looking at my kids and my grandkids, and really great to have Shay and his wife and Chanel.
It was a true on the ball family outing. It was, 3 generations all together. It was super cool.
So that was super cool. Then yesterday was President's Day, and you look at the power of social media. We're constantly talking about it. Jake did a beauty. Shay, show me.
Well done, Jake. Well done.
Are you kidding me? Sherry Cedar yelled at Mark today.
No, at Jake. Saw Jake. Yeah.
What's going on, man? That's unbelievable.
The trifecta.
That's a crazy moment. But what Jake talked about in the President's Day post was, this is what leaders do. So you talk about leadership, you talk about integrity, curiosity, innovation, empathy, courage, humility, energy, vision, all of those things, which are traits of people who had the most powerful seat, in the world. And then you look at yourself, and just because they're president doesn't mean that you can't do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's the old rule in the mindset module of be the CEO of your life, be the president of your life, right? Like embody those behaviors. Leadership always starts with yourself first. So embody those behaviors for yourself, the curiosity, the innovation, the, ability to create systems around yourself and looking at your own, it may be little in comparison to dealing with the global economy, but dealing with your own world and saying, how am I the president of what happens around here? I think it's a great philosophy to own, and Jake did a great job of pulling out those pillars and just identifying those things as great traits from some of the best presidents in the history of the country.
I agree totally. But then when you wrap the whole thing in a package and then you post the picture that you posted of my grandson Jules.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I'm making a fucking poster of that.
Yeah, just pure joy. Just absolute pure joy. We got to take him to the park for the first time yesterday, put him in a swing, and boy, did he love being in a swing. So just that moment, like and I thought about it yesterday. I was like, you get caught up in doing a lot of stuff that I think we as adults, you forget about the things that just bring you real joy, that make you feel really happy. Fortunate that Jules does that for me on a daily basis, but there's way too many people walking around without that as a part of their daily routine, figuring out what brings them joy. And that should be a staple in whatever your routine is.
Could not agree more. What a perfect segue to waking this thing up. Shay, get us some wake up music so we can do a typical Tuesday. Wake up, everybody. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Wake up, come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. Great comments. First of all, Jake is on fire. I'm trying to use this new computer. There you go. Look at Jake just going, crazy, pontificating, about, the start and end of a life. But
Jake's 25, right? And like he's around, a lot of people. He's around a lot of high performers. He's been put in a lot of different positions early in his life that has allowed him to grow. What he's doing and where he's at, the way he's challenging himself to grow personally through his routines and his process. And he finished a book in 8 days, which is a great book, and sharing the lessons of it. Like, he's way ahead of where I was at 25. I can tell you that.
Both of us. So don't want to move on without a shout out to Chris White. Thank you for taking the picture. I know you'll have a problem if I don't shout you out. So I want to make sure that we say good morning, Chris. And thank you for taking the picture of the Nudelberg and the On the Ball clan. That was great. So, and good morning, Matt Di Gregorio. That is what makes life worth living. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that. It's you're always comparing yourself and doing things and moving the needle, but the joy part of life you can't discount. So I always like to start the week, and today is the official start of the week, with some kind of motivational video. And I talk about motivation in terms of what's gonna change my state of being. And today's conversation is going to be about doing the things you need to do to get better. I had the day from hell yesterday. Absolute day from hell. Woke up in the morning, was excited to go ride my bike. My bike was not there. Somebody who needed that bike more than me is riding that bike. Then I was bummed. Okay, happens. What am I going to do? Come back up? No internet. Can't figure it out. Shay the wizard, Jake nothing. And then later on in the day, I'm ready to get to doing some videos. I can't get the camera on my computer to work. So I'm using Mark's backup computer. But, the minute you think you deserve something, like I deserve better, you lost the game. And, so I got through yesterday. I made the adjustments. Today we will do what we need to do. But Matthew McConaughey, who is just one of my favorites in terms of what he puts out in the world, he will be coming to Yellowstone for those Yellowstone fans. Shay, show me earning versus deserving.
I think we got to really watch how quickly we like to say we deserve something. I don't know that we deserve anything. I found that if we think we deserve something and we throw that word out and say, no, do we earn it? That becomes measurable. We can earn things. We can earn things, but I don't think we deserve things. And earning means we're in the process of helping get what we want. Saying we deserve it, a lot of times we just lean back and go, well, I'm supposed to get mine. I deserve it. It's different than earning it. Earn before you deserve it.
I've been doing a lot of research on procrastination, right? And this kind of ties into the stuff that I've been reading about, because a lot of times in procrastination, when you sit down to do something, the panic button gets hit because you immediately start thinking about the end result, whether it's initial action, you're thinking about the end result of the sale, or whether it's building a project and you're thinking about what the project has to look like, instead of just thinking about the progress that you're going to make and being in the progress of earning it, or in the process of earning it, and not thinking about the end result. It's the same thing. It's not deserving something, but what do I need to do in order to earn it? What's the behaviors that I need to have in order to be able to get it?
In a world that is driven by, I want it now, I can't afford it, but I'll pay for it with a credit card, I'll push it out into the future, you really lose sight of what you need to do to earn stuff. I think a lot of, kids grow up and they get given things, you get a lucky break and that puts you on a path. But this whole conversation about, what does it take to earn it? What is it, I at 60, almost 63, last year had an unhealthy year. I thought I could lose weight the same way I used to lose it.
Sure.
It doesn't work anymore until I figured out I need to earn it. It's not going to be 3 days of some hocus pocus bullshit, drink this and it's going to go away. I have earned it every day for this year. And I am getting back to that monster shape that I love, that I operate at that optimal place, which we're going to talk about.
Eric Korm put out a great video on Instagram this weekend where he talked about progress, and he took a toilet paper roll and he's like, what does a toilet paper roll have to do with your progress? And he was like, take a toilet paper roll and rip off one sheet for every day that you consistently do the thing you said you were going to do. After 7 days, that toilet paper roll doesn't look any different. And you're going, I've been doing this for 7 days. How come I don't look any different? He goes, take off 14 of those things. He goes, 2 weeks you've been doing it. You're looking at the toilet paper roll, really doesn't look any different. And you're like, what the hell is going on? So I thought it was a really good illustration of the discipline to consistency and not being so caught up in the results, but being focused on the doing, being focused on, am I making a little bit of progress today? And to me, that's the 1%, right? Like, everybody wants to jump 25% in one day. Just check the box every day that you did 1%. And that's going to be far more successful than trying to jump 25% in one day.
It's so interesting because, I keep going back in a lot of these presentations to my book. And one of the rules that really rings true is act like it's your first day. You will do things on your first day that we move away from the longer we do something. It's just human nature. You find shortcuts, and earning it when you started at whatever you did, and look at any of the people that sat in the hot seat, they told you they started at the bottom. Thank you, Drake, and moved their way up, And so they did what it took. Whatever someone said, hey, listen, I need you to, put your shirt on backwards and blindfold yourself. Okay, I'll do it. Boom,
The difference, I think the difference is that today the ability or the access to it is so much. Like, I think about what being an expert meant in 1985, right? And like, you really had to go to like Columbia, or you had to go to a major university. You had to be involved in that program because that's where the information was. It wasn't so easy to just get information to the American Psychological Journal or all of these places that are publishing all of these experiments and all of these research and all of this research. And so I think in today's world where there's a sense of entitlement or there's a sense of I want it now, it's because the speed and access of information has increased, but the amount of work needed or the amount of effort needed is still the same. So while it's still just as difficult to become the expert as far as the workload and the commitment and the consistency, the difference is anybody could really do it. You can legitimately be anybody. There is a guy who just got hired to work in data analytics for the Seattle Mariners. He didn't start writing code until 5 years ago, and he doesn't have a bachelor's degree. Did not graduate from college, right? But started doing something that he was really passionate about, and just got hired by one of the best, one of the premier organizations in sports to do something that he taught himself how to do. Like, that's an unbelievable concept, but it didn't take away the work that was necessary. But he didn't take the traditional path of going to school, getting an engineering degree, and doing all the things that I think we create barriers for ourselves because we think that's what it has to look like in order to get there.
So I love this conversation. I agree with Jake. We want to stay on it. I got some really great motivational music for today. Then we'll come back and complete this conversation, and we'll move our other stuff to tomorrow. So Shay, give me Queen.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive. And the world is turning inside out. Yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy. So don't stop me now. Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, there's no stopping me. I'm burning through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you. Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you wanna have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time. Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time. I don't wanna stop at all.
That is a man who knew how to have a good time, and he was not stopping. There was nobody who was stopping him.
Was that the movie or was that the real life?
Yeah.
It was so good, but he talks about don't stop. I love that, he's burning at 200 degrees.
That's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. I love that because, it gets us back to the energy that you bring to it. And I love telling this story, but I'm going to share it with you real quickly. Bill Farback, who used to be the president of Publix, right? Well, the day he retired, which was a couple of years ago, he invited friends and business people. I had done business with them for years, invited us to the store in Pompano. Why are we going to Pompano? Because that's where he started as a bag boy. Yeah. And 40 years he spent doing stuff in Publix. And my conversation was, how many people along the way told him, get out, you're just a bag boy, you'll never make any, this is not a place to be. You were a bag boy, I told you to get out. You're a bag boy,
I'm glad I didn't stick with the Publix career though.
And the takeaway is, first of all, he retired a multimillionaire. Him and Gary Carell are just the most amazing people. I got a chance to work with them. We still see Gary all over the place. But here's the takeaway. You can have anything you want when you figure out what you're willing to give up to get it. Right. Most people aren't willing to give it up. They want, it's a fantasy. If you say to yourself, and this is where I agree with, David Goggins. Now, he's off the top, and some of the parodies about him are amazing. But if you figure out what you're willing to give up, and that, Andy talked about it, sacrificing as an entrepreneur, things you need to do.
Time with his kids. I mean, he talked about, I look back at times that I wish I would have been there, or, he regrets some of those moments. There's always a sacrifice. There's always.
Right. I mean, so if you think through it, I ask anybody here that's listening this morning, and, Kitty, the reason why we do this is so that the message hits somebody.
Sure.
We don't know what's going to resonate. We like talking because it starts our day. And, so I'm really glad it's for you. But think about, what are you willing to give up to get to that next level, to get to that goal? And if you write it down and say, you want to lose weight? Give up the donuts, man.
Figure it out, right? That to me is, there used to be a barrier to information. There's no barrier to information anymore. Go find out. Go figure out what it is that you want, whether it's to be financial freedom, whether it's to do things differently. Like the look on the 23, 24, 25-year-olds' faces when I presented to CCIM talking about a different way as they're going through cold calling training, right? They didn't know there was a different way. They thought there was a different way. It didn't make sense to them what they were being taught, but they don't know. But as soon as they find out, as soon as there's information given to them that there is another way, they go, oh, wait a minute. And to me, that face, that realization that there is another way, or that they got the information, okay, now what do I do? Now they get to make the decision. I made the decision that I wasn't going to do it the way they were telling me to do it, that I was going to do it a different way. That helped me be successful. But you got to be willing to make that decision and then go discipline yourself to doing the thing that's got to be done.
Which, go full circle, that's what presidents need to do. They need to stand out in front of it, say, this is the way I see it. This is the way I'm going to give up. Not everybody's going to love me. Not everybody's going to support me. So what a terrific way to start Tuesday. I'm fired up. I'll be listening to that music all day. Stay tuned tomorrow, because I'll move today's content, which we didn't get to, which was a conversation about Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I would vote for him for anything, man, because this guy has me dialed in. And you talk about the power of 5 minutes, the power of 10 minutes, the power of 15 minutes. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about time. So make sure you come. Make sure you bring a friend. Have an awesome Tuesday, and wish me luck, because I got to go get my computer taken care of.
Let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business.